Hey everyone, welcome to the RotoGrinders Morning Grind Podcast. I'm your host, Stevietpfl. It's Wednesday. It's December 21st. It's 2022. We have 11 NBA games to talk about here on today's podcast, and I'm joined by my good buddy, Will Priester, ChiefJustice06. Priester, what's happening, my friend?
Man, I'm good. Let me just say, I think one of the most beautiful things about doing a live podcast for the Morning Grind is getting the intro music injected into my veins before we go into the show. I mean, listen, folks, I know if you haven't recorded a pod before or any type of live streaming, get that intro music, man. It gets you pumped up. So that intro music. Shout out to the intro music today. And let's ride, man. I'm ready to got an 11 game slate. Let's get rolling.
It gets you going. Like that like right that but back like it just
Yeah.
I mean, they can't see us because we have the overlay on, but we jam out every time. And so for years, so I've been recording this podcast. The first one was April of 2016. So I've been recording this podcast for a long time now. So this is like this last month has been like the first time that the intro has been playing before we get started. And just get you pumped up. Like I have to listen to it in post editing and stuff like that for forever. But just get you going. Get you going. Yeah. Brent, what's up? What's up? Hanging out on YouTube. Everyone, welcome to hang out on YouTube during these live broadcasts. So we're gonna break down this 11 game slate. I gave him a shout out yesterday. I gotta say it one more time. Valanciunas. Will, I told everyone that I got a text from you that just said J-Val. And it made me laugh. I was doing some stuff with family, and it made me laugh because I hadn't watched it all. And I was like, all right. I see you, Will. I see you. So, we're just the new morning grind game is like, who is your J-Val today? Instead of your let's get weird GPP play of the day. So, anyway, all joking aside, let's get into this NBA slate. 11 games to talk about today, a few back-to-backs. We get started here with Milwaukee at Cleveland, 216.5 total here. Cleveland, a small 2-point favorite, which is interesting. On the Bucks side, Middleton's doubtful. And then on the Cavs side, Rubio's still out. Lamar Stevens is doubtful. Dean Wade and Windler remain out as well. Hey, listen, I had a call. I said Markin in tonight. He's having a game, so take that, Valanciunas.
Markin had I think he had 20 in the first half, 20 real points.
20 less than 20 less than Valanciunas yesterday. So, all right, I'm out of it. Let's talk Milwaukee Bucks. Slow game. Well, we have two of the better defensive teams in the league here. I'm definitely concerned with that. We know the Cavs play at the slowest pace in the NBA, and Milwaukee's kind of middle of the road, but we have the two best defenses in the league. Cavs are number one. Milwaukee's number two. We have two of the top 5 net rating teams in the NBA. This is a good basketball game, but DFS-wise, is there anything standing out to you for the Bucks?
Matt, Steve, the only thing I can think of is if this game was super competitive, and these guys kind of went down to the wire, who's going to be on the floor? Excuse me. I'm so sorry, folks. Forgive me. It's going to be these main guys here from Milwaukee. We already know that Chris Middleton's most likely he's doubtful. I doubt he plays here. No need to push him out there. They need him for the playoffs. Once again, I'm committed to not playing Drew Holiday in this mid 8K range. And Stevie, that might come back to bite me. It probably is a little bit different now that we know Middleton's not going to be in, but still, like you said, this is going to be a tough defensive game. The one guy though that's sneakily been just kind of getting there, I think, is a guy we talked about the last time, and that's Grayson Allen. As long as he's 4,200 and playing almost 30 minutes, in some cases, I think we have to consider him. He's a really good play. And then I think the last time we had Cleveland on the slate as well, Well, we're not talking about Cleveland yet. I'll talk about that when we get there. But I think I got to agree with you here. Going back to a previous comment we had a couple of days ago, Grayson Allen at 4,200, a guy that can shoot the rock a little bit, and he's been picking up some peripherals. I think he's in consideration.
So, I mean, for me, my favorite play from the Bucks, and it's really just a DraftKings play, is Brook Lopez. He's 5,600. He's continually put out these like 30-plus point games in 2 matchups against the Cavs this season. He's averaging 37 fantasy points. We'll take 37 fantasy points at 5,600. He's been like, he got to that like peak price, and then he came down, and now like he's kind of right where we want to, I think, tack this price. So with Middleton out, he just seems to do better with Middleton out, and with Middleton doubtful for this game. Brook Lopez, of all people, someone that I really like here at 5,600. I think he has double upside in this game, and I mean at his price, that's fantastic. So I don't hate it. And then going to the Cavs side, I mean, it's not that I don't want to play Giannis, and it's not that I don't want to play Mitchell. They're just so expensive, and I feel like these expensive guys in this game are just, unless this game just becomes like a really intense back and forth shootout type of game, which I don't think any projection system is going to project that. I mean, maybe that's why you have interest in it, but I just don't see a ton of interest here on really either side of this game. Maybe on the flip side, Allen at 6,600, but I mean, I don't even know if I can go there.
Yeah, I think for me, Stevie, I'm with you. This should be a tough game. Garland 7,800 again. Donovan Mitchell 9,100. Here's someone, Stevie, and I'm going to keep mentioning this. As long as Kevin Love stays in this 3K range, I'm playing him. So we saw his minutes in the previous game. He played 24 minutes against Utah, Stevie, and he put up 21 fantasy points. He was 3,700 in that one. He could easily get to 30 if the stars align here. He did that, Stephen, only took 3 shots. He only took 3 shots, and he put up 21 fantasy points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists. Imagine, and then in the game before when they played Dallas, he took 10 shots. So, and he put up 18 fantasy points. When the stars align for us here, Steven, he shoots like 6 for 10 one game, and probably, if that's the case, he's probably 2 of 4 from 3 or something like that, plus the rebounds. We're gonna have a 30-point fantasy score in our hands, and nobody's gonna be playing him. I'm gonna keep Kevin Love at the top of our brains here, at top of mind for these slates, as long as he's in this under 4K.
I mean, I think all we needed to see was 24 minutes.
Yep.
I'm not worried about the shot attempts. They'll come. 24 minutes. Now he's too cheap. Like that's what we needed to see. 15 to 19 minutes was tough. 20 plus minutes at 3,800. He has to be in our player pool. Yeah. Because if he gets hot, I mean, he breaks the slate. So he could easily bust, but at his price, I mean, he won't win a tournament if he gets 20, but if he gets 25, you're looking really good. So Detroit at Philadelphia is where we go next. This game, 225 total. The 76ers, a 11.5-point favorite in this game. Detroit, second end of a back-to-back. We'll see if anything comes out of that game. Maxey remains out, and Korkmaz is questionable on the Philadelphia side. Anything standing out to you here for Detroit?
No, man. Nothing crazy. You've got, I will say this, you've got Duren, who's been playing good minutes. In the props world, Steve, I mean, he's been great. Even at 4,700 against Philly, I think he's okay. Let's see how he handles Embiid. I think he had another double tonight. If it wasn't, it was close.
Yeah, he had another really good.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't have he had a double. It was like, I think it was 15-13 or something, 15-14.
Yeah. So, we're at 4,700. I don't hate it. Embiid's going to be a tough matchup for him. Somebody who started to play really well here recently is Jaden Ivey. Especially in the scoring department. I think tonight with previous slate, I don't remember exactly how many points he had, but I know, I mean, he at one point, man, I think he scored six points straight or something like that for the Pistons. He's not going to get as many minutes as Bogdan, but at 4,800, I think he's in the pool. Like he was in the 6K range at one point, Stevie. Now he's 4,800. I think we hop back on the train here. We might see a theme of that over the next week during this Christmas break, just identifying guys that were up there and now they're priced back down way too cheap. He probably should be 5,500, not 48.
He's really the only guy. I mean, Jalen Duran was one of my favorite value plays yesterday. You know, talked about him on the expert survey, talked about him in tags and stuff like that. Tough matchup against Embiid. I'd be shocked if he ends up not getting in foul trouble in this game, or just struggling in general in this game because the matchup's just so tough for him. So maybe he'll prove me wrong. I mean, he seems very talented, but I think this is a game where I've been playing him a bunch. I put him on the shelf and play him next time around. I do like the Ivy call. Does he come off the floor if this game gets out of hand? It's tough to say. I mean, Detroit has been playing teams close enough where we haven't seen them playing too many blowouts this year. So it's tough. But outside of that, they just spread the minutes out so much that if no one gets ruled out here on the second end of a back-to-back, I really don't have a ton of interest. And I mean, Philly should crush Detroit, and Joel Embiid should just have a day. If this game stays remotely close, that, you know, Embiid could crush. I hate projecting blowouts, but I'm just concerned about this game staying close.
Yeah, no, I'm with you 100%. I still like Embiid. I'm trying to think about looks like the last blowout here recently. Looks like Sacramento or Charlotte. Either way, like he was still able to get there. And I guess what we're banking on is, and I don't want to sound like I'm talking in circles, but man, because you're looking at DFS and I'm looking at props, and a lot of times I'm looking at first half props too, I've kind of got this system of or remembrance of how players perform in the first half. Let me just say, Joel Embiid typically goes off in the first half. Like I'm talking about scoring 17, 16, 17, 18 real points, sometimes in the 20s. And then that kind of catapults him to that next tier, even in a blowout. I don't hate it for Embiid at 11.5. If he was 12K, I think I'd be out. At 11.5, I still think he could squeeze out over 60 even in a blowout. I'm willing to roll the dice. Like I don't think it's cash viable per se, but in a GPP, like I'm more than willing to play Embiid here.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I love the Embiid first half prop call here. I feel like he smashes in the first half, and like blowout doesn't crazy. Matter. Like blowout just doesn't matter. Ooh. Like if this game gets ugly, it doesn't matter because he smashes when you have the first half prop. So maybe that's where I like get my Embiid exposure, and then like large field tournaments, like if you want to run like a Ivy type of stack or a Hayes type of play and run it back with like Embiid, and you just hope you get the ceiling games. I don't hate it.
Yeah.
All right. We got the Pacers and the Celtics, 232 total here. Celtics a 10.5 point favorite. On the Indiana side, I mean, Brown's out, Tice is out, not too much. And then on the Celtics side, Gallinari is still out. And then Marcus Smart is questionable. So that's definitely one we'll talk about. Give me your thoughts here on the Pacers.
Yeah, man, this is going to be a tough matchup for this team. Boston at home. Boston not at home. It doesn't matter. They've been really good. I feel like I'm mostly out on the Pacers today, and that's not usually my stance. But even, Tyrese Halliburton has been incredible, man. But Boston has been a different level of competition this year. And so I don't think I want to waste any roster spots on Indiana players today.
Boston allows the third fewest fantasy points per game to opposing point guards. So it's a tough matchup here for Halliburton. If you're playing like a Tatum or like a Brown, and you're just hoping the game stack works, sure. But I still think like if I'm gonna do that, I would probably go like Turner and hope that he finally has a ceiling game. Like he finally has that like bounce back big game. But Boston's just tough. They just don't allow a ton of fantasy points in general. I think they're fifth fewest overall fantasy points per game. So it's just a tough team to really target against, especially at the prices, right? Like Halliburton is expensive. If he was priced down for this spot, if Buddy Hield was 5,500 in this spot, like we're having a conversation about it, but at these prices, it's really tough.
Yeah.
Boston, I mean, you could play Brown or Tatum if you want to. Indiana is one of the best matchups in the NBA. My biggest thing here is just seeing if Marcus Smart plays, because if he is out, then we're getting a potential cheap play in like a Brogdon or a Nembhard, or Nembhard's on the other side. White is who I thought. So like a Derek White or a Brogdon type of play.
And White's going to play 30 minutes or somewhere near that, like 3,900. I'm with you, bro.
Like, Brogdon he's kind of been in that 30-minute range too, and you're getting a fantastic matchup against the Pacers. So, what are your thoughts here on the Celtics?
Man, call me crazy. I almost like Brogdon more with Marcus Smart in because he comes off the bench and gets all the shots, right? But yeah, Brogdon at 5,100. I'm still in on that, especially against Indiana. So you don't have to you don't have to sell me on Malcolm Brogdon. Like I'm in. That's a great price for him playing 30 minutes. For a guy that can score, he can score 20 real points in this game. Like he could. So I'm in on Brogdon, and I'm also in on White though. White with the price at 3,900. I don't think in a general sense he has as much upside as Brogdon, but that price discount is nice. I mean, we've got 2 3K guys that we can play, a 5K guy we talked about already. This slate is coming together.
Toronto at New York facing the Knicks. This game is currently sitting at 218. The Knicks a 1-point favorite in this one. Knicks on the second end of a back-to-back. We'll see if anything comes out of that game. They didn't really have to play their full minutes in that one.
And they didn't play their full minutes, Stevie, which is maybe Coach Tibbs is coming around. I mean, they were blowing Golden State out. And so Randall and some other, they didn't play much in the fourth quarter or at all.
Which is fine. I mean, maybe because it's a back-to-back. Normal nights, you're just
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Normal nights, you're getting 38 minutes still. Get out there. I don't care if we're up 25. On the Toronto side,
on the bench players.
Precious is out, Porter is out, and then Trent Jr., Gary Trent is questionable. We'll start here with Toronto. I mean, Gary Trent, if he doesn't play, it opens up minutes for sure. What are your thoughts here on the Raptors?
This is an interesting spot for me. I think I go back to Fred VanVleet at 8,300. He had a rough, and I do mean a rough, game against Philly. And it's mainly in the scoring department. He shot 3 for 15, Stevie, 20%. He was 2 for 11 from three-point range. So he took 15 shots, 11 of them were three-pointers. He shot 18% from 3. It just wasn't his night. I'm willing to go back to Fred VanVleet if these guys continue to sit, because it does open it up for him. Now, OG's back, so it's not going to be, I guess, the same distribution. But man, I mean, I don't hate that call here to get him in some lineups. I think I'm going to pass on Siakam at 10-4. He's got the upside. I get it, but New York's not going to be running up at. New York's not trying to get into a track meet in a general sense based on their coaching philosophy. So I don't think I'll end up playing him. If Trent sits though, I think if Malachi Flynn and OG is back, don't get me wrong. How many minutes do you need? I think I need 25 minutes from Malachi Flynn to feel okay about playing him at 3,200, even in this spot.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of where I'm struggling with this game. Is Van Vliet is back, and even if Trent is out, some of the pricing is just so. I don't know if I'd necessarily say off, but I mean, Siakam, like ceiling wise in large field tournaments, Siakam is still like, I think, kind of looking at my notes here, he's still the guy like that has, I feel like, the biggest ceiling that could still pay off. So Siakam's been amazing on the road this season. I hate home road splits, but he's been amazing on the road this season. So maybe it's Siakam, but I might just say, like, with OG being back here, it's just like I'm probably not getting to a lot here for Toronto.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, 100%, man. Like, these prices are very restrictive for their full lineup being back. And it's going to be hard to play them. I'm still somewhat in on Van Vliet just because the Knicks have struggled with the point guard position, like generally speaking. Like, even though they blew out Golden State and Jordan Poole didn't get there from a fantasy point perspective, Jordan Poole still had 26 points in 3 quarters. Imagine if he played the fourth. Like, so I don't want to overlook that, and I think this is a unique spot for us because I don't think many people will play Van Vliet today at 8,300. And it's not going to feel good, but this is more of a matchup play that I think is going under the radar.
Yeah, fair enough. On the Knicks side, I mean, I had a ton of interest in Randall yesterday. Obviously, did not work out.
He was crushing, though.
I mean, Golden State just couldn't keep up. Golden State keeps up in that game, and it's just such a different night. Like,
he was on his way to him. I think he had like 12, 13 rebounds in the third, 15. But like, he was on his way to a monster if he played 4 minutes.
What are your thoughts on the Knicks in this one?
Well, I definitely think this one is going to be more competitive. And so I think we go right back to the well on Randall. I don't think this is a bad spot. He's 9,200, but he's starting to show the upside against you. Like, if we look, I mean, his game log right now, past few games at 49, 42, 57, 49, 48. Like, that's what I want to see if we're going to be playing 9K guys. Toronto, this should be, like I said, a much more competitive matchup. So I like him a ton. And then as kind of a secondary piece here, and I'm not sure how much he will stick in this game because of the Siakam effect. But Mitch Rob is kind of like these other guys. Like, as long as he's in that low 5K range, he's got upside for 35, 40. I want to get him in my pool.
Yeah. No, I definitely hear you on that as well. I'm like definitely okay with going back to the well on Randall. His usage is just, I mean, it's nutty right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's the easiest way to say it is his usage is just insane right now. So,
and he's shooting threes like Steph Curry.
I mean, Quentin Grimes is someone that I've been talking about a lot lately. I definitely don't mind getting some Quentin Grimes depending on like what type of value opens up or doesn't open up on this slate. So moving on, we got Chicago at Atlanta. 233.5 total in this game. The Hawks are a 7-point favorite. Chicago's on the second end of a back-to-back. The Atlanta Hawks will be without Clint Capella in this one, and we'll see if anything comes out of the Bulls. I mean, Vooch coming off of a big game. Any interest here in Chicago going up against Atlanta?
I don't hate this spot because the Bulls aren't really priced crazily. Like, when you look at these prices, Stevie, and like Zach LaVine's been in the upper 6K, lower 7K range all season, and this game is going to have some pace pushed for sure. Like this is going to be a pace game. The only guy that's really priced over 8K is DeMar DeRozan. He's at 8,500. Vooch is still down here at 71, and we know Capella isn't playing. He should be able to take these guys out for lunch yet again. I like the Bulls here. I've heard some Kobe White chatters. He's playing, in the 20s. I don't feel as comfortable with him as I would like a Derek White if Smart is out or Kevin Love, just because they're going to have to get there in different ways. But, the minutes have been there in certain situations. I don't like it, but I did feel like I needed to mention because he is 3,400. Like, who's to say he doesn't go out and put up a 25 to 30 point fantasy game in this spot with the pace? So I don't hate it, but I don't love it. But I think it's pool worthy if you're playing large field.
I mean, the first time these two teams played, DeRozan had a monster game. He went for like 60 plus fantasy points, is what I wrote down. I mean, the only thing that I'm somewhat concerned about is Vooch, LaVine, and DeRozan all played at least 37 minutes on Tuesday night. Second end of a back-to-back against a team that likes to kind of run. So, I mean, that's, somewhat concerned. Chicago, they have been playing a little bit faster this season, like eighth. Yeah. I think they're 8th or 9th in pace. So, I mean, this game is going to be really fast. I think that benefits like DeRozan or LaVine more than it does Vooch. But with Capella out, I mean, Vooch, if they give him the ball against Okongwu, good luck. But yeah, I mean, going Patrick Williams on small slates, potential value play. I mean, bigger slate like this, I probably don't get there on him. That's really it for me on the Bulls. It's really just the three guys most nights. And then on the Atlanta side, with DeJounte being back, Trae Young is capable of monster games, but with DeJounte being back, it's really tough to pay 10-2 for him.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe Murray being back gives him more like double upside than it did. But I also think like Bogdanovich's shots are going to go down with Murray back. So, I mean, if you're wanting to just game stack this game and hoping for, I mean, Atlanta has one of the highest implied team totals on the slate. So if you want to do something like a Trae Young or a DeJounte Murray, I'm not going to talk you out of it. But I don't love really anything here from Atlanta. Maybe John Collins is too cheap at 5,700 if he's going to get his normal minutes.
I think I glitched a little bit, Steve. I don't think I heard your last statement. I heard you say minutes.
No, I just said John Collins at 5,700. If he gets his full minutes, maybe he's in play. But
okay,
I mean, Atlanta is just,
okay.
I don't know. They're kind of price weird because people were out for so long.
Yeah, absolutely. I do think Collins' minutes are going to come up, though. Like, that was his first game back. He played 20 minutes. Do you think he's going to be on some form of a gradual ramp up to get him back to 30 maybe? Like, maybe this game he plays 22, 23. At those minutes, I don't want to play him at 5,700. But that is something to keep an eye on, because if he's on ramp up, if we can track this properly, then within the next 2 or 3 games, he's going to be playable, I think. But that's store for another day, not this slate. But I'm with you. I think everybody's priced up for the guys being out. Trae, at 10-2, he was able to handle the Orlando Magic. That ended up being a pretty tight game. He scored 37 real points, 13 assists. In a general sense, though, I actually think his scoring may pick up a little bit more with DeJounte because he's got some help, but perhaps the peripherals take a hit. So it might balance itself out, but I'm with you at 10-2. I'm willing to put the pass on Trae and play some other guys for sure.
Interesting slate. I mean, this game, most nights you would really like the Atlanta side of this game. I mean, at most nights, like if you weren't on a back-to-back here, I mean, I would love both sides. I mean, this is a stackable game for sure. So I definitely like the potential stack of this game. Moving on, we got Golden State at Brooklyn. No total in this game. I mean, who knows what the lineup is going to look like here for Golden State. On the Brooklyn side, I mean, really no one. I mean, everyone that is normally playing with them is playing in this game. So, yeah, I mean, definitely interesting. We'll go to Golden State first. I mean, the biggest note is DiVincenzo didn't play Tuesday. We know that Clay is not going to play in this game. Kerr came out and said that. I don't know. Does Draymond play? If he doesn't play, I mean, Kuminga obviously would be in play. What are your thoughts here on Golden State?
Look, man, with Golden State, doesn't this feel like another blowout?
I don't see how they keep this game close.
Oh, man.
Close.
I don't think I want to play anyone. Like, Jordan Poole could be amazing, but he's not going to have enough help. Let me say this. We know Clay is sitting. If Draymond sits, like, forget it. It's no way. I don't think there's any way they keep this game close. On a back-to-back, we saw them struggle with the Knicks and other teams. Steve, it's not just the Knicks. I think they just played Indiana. Recently, Indiana was playing fine. I just don't see how they keep this game close, and I don't know who's cheap. Like, maybe Ty Jerome is cheap enough for you to take a shot, like, for the blowout. Like maybe he's cheap enough. Kuminga's $5K now, so like you need real production from him for this to pay off. I don't like these prices. Wiseman is $3K, but you need him to play 20 minutes of it. I think it's a bad spot to play any Warriors right now.
Like, if I'm ending like Moses Moody, he's my Let's Get Weird GPP play of the day for what it's worth. Just so like when we get to that point of the game, you can't steal him because I'm calling it right now.
Yeah,
there you go. So like for me, he's 3,300. Will, we know Clay's not playing. We know Curry's out. We know Wiggins isn't going to play. If Draymond sits too, if this game turns into a blowout, like there's so many ways for this guy to get minutes in this game. I mean, he played 32 minutes in the somewhat blowout. I mean, somewhat blowout. It was a blowout. The Knicks crushed the Warriors.
They did. Oh, man.
So, like, if he is going to get 30 minutes at 3,300, I think it's worth taking a tournament shot. I think it's worth a risk. He's going to shoot some threes. He's going to, be really close to like double-digit shot attempts. So he might be my favorite play from this game. I mean, if you want to go, I see like you can't even run like a Jordan Poole, like Durant, Kyrie team. I mean, maybe you go Jordan Poole like Ben Simmons. If the game stays close, Ben Simmons gets minutes. But I mean, I don't see how you could play really anybody from Brooklyn in this game. Maybe Royce O'Neal just because he plays like a zillion minutes every night. It doesn't really matter. So, I mean, for me, Moody, of all people, if DiVincenzo's out, Moody, like if DiVincenzo plays, maybe I take some shots on him. If JaMychal Green is back and Draymond's out, maybe JaMychal Green at 3,600, like
possibly.
Yeah. I mean, this is you gotta like swift, like go through the waves here. Brooklyn, what do you like here for the Nets?
Nobody. I'm expecting a blowout. Like I can't play them either.
There's no line out for this game. I'm gonna say it comes in at like minus 11.5. Brooklyn.
I can roll with that.
I think that's what it like, and that might not be enough. Like I might be underselling this. So, all right, we're moving on. We got Portland at OKC taking on the Thunder. Oh, there it is. 234.5 total. Portland is a 3.5 point favorite in this one. Struggling with this game. Oh, there it is. All right. Baisley's out. Giddey's out. Trey Mann is out. Robinson Earl is out. And then on the Portland side, Grant is probable. Little is out. Nurkic is questionable. Yeah, that's where we're at with this one. What are your thoughts here on Portland?
I mean, Dame at 10-6 against this team. He played 39 minutes the last time. He only put up 28 points. Also only took 17 shots, which was probably 3 to 4 shots lower than usual for him. Like he's a guy that's going to take about 20 shots a game, roughly. With upside for 25, 26 if he's rolling. Like he's got some games sprinkled in there, even recently, 23, 21, 22, 24. Like he's roughly 20 shot attempt guy. So I like Dame. The peripherals has been there. He's picked up a fair amount of assists this season as well. So I don't hate him, but especially if Nurkic is out. Like he'll handle more of a scoring load, and so he's a guy that, while expensive, I'd be willing to take a shot on. My only reserve, once again, is OKC's got a bunch of people out too, so it could be a blowout. Last game was a lot closer. SGA played in that game, so I definitely know that helped. SGA put up 35. I mean, another 30-plus point game from SGA. My God.
Yeah, I remember mocking that game, saying, I can't believe Portland is only a 7-point favorite and OKC won. So,
yeah.
Not going to mock it today. Not happening.
But yeah, I don't hate Dame here. He's definitely a guy that could get off and get rolling pretty good. But that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, Anthony Simons is going to eventually be like 6,200, 5,900, like in that range. We just got to continue to be patient on him, or just wait for Lillard to be out a game. I mean, that's really what it's going to be. I mean, with Lillard back, Simons needs to be like low 6Ks for me to have interest.
6,200, I think, is fair.
Yeah, I mean, if Nurkic sits, Drew Eubanks at 4,200. I think he's very much in play in this one. He's probable, and he played 32 minutes against the Thunder the other night. He shot 4 for 4, had 2 blocks, 7 rebounds. He's solid. He's a solid value play. The Thunder side of this game, I mean, obviously, if you're going Lillard, you can go SGA if you want to go heavy game stack here. I don't hate that. Jalen Williams has been playing really well, especially with Giddey out. He's 4,600. And then Kendrick Williams, 2 games since being back, 32 and 29 minutes. He's 4,300. So I don't mind the value with Williams or Williams. It threw me off. I was like, Williams, and no, I'm going to say Williams again. So either one of Kendrick or Jalen Williams. Poku, they just don't want to give him minutes. I mean, half the team is out right now. And I'm just out. Like, if he goes off and he beats me, he just beats me. So that's kind of where I'm at. I think Dort could potentially have a better game than he had the other night, but I like the value on the Thunder side of this game.
Yeah, man. And I think we talked about this the other night. Like, when these guys are this cheap, Williams, even Lou Dort at 5,500, if he's going to get 30-plus minutes, that's still fairly cheap for him because he's somewhat of a main piece for this team. He's a guy that they don't seem to be interested in pulling his minutes down. I don't hate it here against Portland at all. We saw the Williams guys yet again just continue to get minutes. Jalen, he played I think it was 33 minutes. Yeah, 33 minutes, put up 31 fantasy points, which is exactly, I'll take that performance yet again. Kenrich played 29 minutes, put up 24, had 30 the previous game. Those are definitely 2 pieces that I think if I'm playing Dame, I may want to get one of those guys on the other side.
All right, Dallas at Minnesota is where we go next. This game has a 227 total. Dallas is a 4-point favorite. In this one, on the Dallas side, Finney Smith is out. Josh Green, Maxey out. Dwight Powell is questionable. On the Minnesota side, Rudy Gobert is questionable. Kyle Anderson is questionable. McLaughlin is out. Prince and Karl-Anthony Towns remain out as well. Going to the Dallas side first, Luka is expensive at 12.6. Just kind of dudded the last time these two teams played. Like they just played. This is a repeat game of Monday night when we did the podcast, and we were like, he got ejected in that game. I don't know if like the extra 7 or 8 minutes really would have mattered too much. I mean,
I don't know.
He
was at 38, man.
Yeah, but 38 and 28 minutes is not Luka numbers. I just don't know if he. Okay, so he did. So if he did if he played 8 more minutes and he got, if he averaged 2 fantasy points per minute, 16 is still 54. It's still not enough at 12.6. It was 12.5 the other night. So that's kind of what I was getting at. I mean, I think Christian Wood is kind of just now in that price range where it's really tough to play him, even in an above average matchup if Gobert is out. Dinwiddie is interesting at 6,400. Tim Hardaway should play plenty of minutes in this game as well, especially with Finney Smith ruled out. I mean, I don't know where the minutes are going to go. I don't know if it will be like a Jalen Hardy type of play or if they roll out like Bertans more than like his 16 minutes they've been rolling him out. So, yeah, I mean, Bertans is 3K if you want to risk the biscuit. But what are your thoughts here on Dallas?
Yeah, I don't want to risk it with Bertans. I can tell you that. I feel like as long as Luka's playing, it's always Luka. Like, and Kemba Walker, I mean, he played 24 minutes, but he's not 3K anymore. He went from 3,100 to 6,600. And now he's on the 63 and didn't get any type of price adjustment. Luka's back, but we can't play him right now. Anyway, it's just Luka on this team if we play anybody. And I don't hate it. Like, it's Minnesota. I don't mind going back to the well for what it's worth.
Yeah, definitely going back to the well if I'm playing anybody from Dallas. I don't think you necessarily have to play anybody from Dallas on this big old slate. What are your thoughts on the Minnesota side of this game?
So it's weird because Dallas is a fairly good defensive team overall. And, Anthony Edwards is 9,500. Now, look, there are certain players they can get off against anybody. We saw Anthony Edwards go for 65 fantasy points against Dallas, 67 against Chicago, 48 against OKC. Like, he's on one right now. But in a general sense, I don't think Anthony Edwards is a $9,500 player. You get what I'm saying? So I'm not playing him. I don't hate D'Angelo Russell, but once again, this has been a fairly good defensive team. He's still coming off of this injury. I don't think I want to play anybody. Gobert's still questionable, as you already mentioned. As good as this game is, I think I just only play Luke if I play anyone.
Yeah, I mean it's fair for sure. I mean, with Karl-Anthony Towns and Gobert off the floor in this game, if you just take those two guys out, not like even including like Kyle Anderson, I mean, we're getting monster usage for Anthony Edwards. Like, I agree with you what you were saying. I don't disagree at all. It's just, I mean, you look at the usage, 29%, averaging 1.5 fantasy points per minute in 265 minutes. It's not even like it's a small sample size. The guy is just absolutely mashed with Towns and Gobert off the floor.
Yeah.
Naz Reid has smashed with these two guys off the floor as well. Like, you're playing Naz Reid at 5,900 if Gobert is out again, for sure. And then I think Anthony Edwards is an interesting large field tournament play. I mean,
I get it.
Looking at his production and his minutes potential and his usage, those would be my two guys. I mean, Jalen Noel, if Kyle Anderson is out and Jalen Noel is a guy we kind of project to maybe see like 30 minutes. That's where I think it could get interesting if Anderson is out. So, all right, moving on. We got my Orlando Magic going into Houston.
Fun young
223.
team.
I mean, man, they're rolling right now. 223.5 total. Orlando Magic, a 2-point favorite on the Houston side of things. I mean, nobody really. I mean, Tate is out. Matthews is out. On the Orlando side, Wendell Carter Jr. remains out. Harris is out. Isaac is out. Okeke Suggs out. The big one that we're going to be watching here, though, is Franz Wagner is questionable with an ankle sprain. That happened the other night, so pay attention to that. That could be something that definitely changes the slate, but we'll start here with the Magic. Fultz. What is going on? Like,
I'm so tired of Markelle Fultz, man.
This guy is just listen, he missed camp. I mean, obviously with the injury. I feel like he's starting to get into season form. Like even the other night against like Boston in the game that he didn't have a great game, the Boston games, like he still played well. He still had like some good plays. Like this dude's rolling, and him and Paulo, they're getting on the same page, and like it's opening up like some free assists for Fultz. I mean, I don't think I want to pay AK for Paulo. I mean, you can't.
I don't know. It's Houston. Yeah. I don't know.
I think Fultz crushes in this game.
Yeah, I don't hate Fultz here. I was just saying I'm so tired of Markelle Fultz because he was a guy I was on this under on the point rebound prop. And
that didn't work.
Well, the other night it didn't work. It worked in Boston. It's worked a couple other times. But he's at 30 minutes now. Like I can't consciously start taking unders on those types of numbers when he's at 30 minutes. So now watch this, Stevie. Now here's the funny part about props. I know we're talking fantasy. I'm gonna get back there, but here's the funny part. I go and take the over against Houston, he flops. You already know how this works, right? So tomorrow's gonna have a bad game. I hope not. But yeah, I'm with you on Fultz at 5,700. I definitely think he's a guy you can look at. Cole Anthony is another guy. If Wagner's out, I think Cole Anthony gets to 25 to 28 minutes because they'll need him for scoring. I think. So he's another guy I think would kind of creep into the mix. I wonder how that would affect a guy like Bo and kind of his role with it. Like, do you think he gets back up to 30 minutes if he's out? Because now he's kind of back down in this 20-minute range. He's just somebody I'm thinking about.
I don't think so. I think Mo Wagner has been playing so good that I don't think Bo Boyle gets there. I think like Terrence Ross gets extra minutes in this game if that happens. That's where I think the minutes go.
He's like a veteran now. He's mentoring at this point.
Listen, they have no problem playing him like 28, 32 minutes in this game.
Yeah.
Who else do they got? I mean, that's just like
that's why I like Anthony.
Oh, I mean, I agree with you on Anthony. They could use Schofield too. Like Schofield is a potential like minute guy as well in this one. So I don't know how much like we really want to trust that, but he's someone that could potentially play if Franz Wagner is out.
Yeah.
Interesting. I mean, the matchup and the Magic, they've kind of been playing really well here recently. Not a deep bench. So if like Franz Wagner is out, I think you'll kind of be able to project where minutes are going to spread out to. But Fultz, my favorite play from Orlando here. The Houston side of this game, I mean, Houston is somewhat interesting. They're definitely going to try to push the pace a little bit more than the Magic, but they both play kind of bottom 15 pace. So Orlando and Houston just have such bad defenses in general that like the Houston side could definitely work with the Orlando side. So what are your thoughts here on the Rockets?
I like the Rockets. I mean, this should be a good game. But here's the crazy part, though, Stevie. And man, Orlando's actually been playing good basketball here. like with good teams like Boston. Now I think Tatum was out for one of those games, but I think he was in another one and they played just fine. So I like this spot with Houston. Kevin Porter Jr. is down to 7,100 now. Like, if this game is competitive all the way through, that's going to be a good price for him. Jalen Green at 7,200 is not bad either. But I don't think it's as good as KPJ because of the peripherals. I just think KPJ has more peripheral action. And then Jabari Smith, he's been picking up big minutes here recently. He's got 30-plus point upside. I don't mind him as well.
All right, we got the Lakers going into Sacramento. 229 total. The Kings a 6-point favorite in this game. On the Lakers side, Davis is out. LeBron is probable. Reeves is doubtful with the ankle injury. Westbrook dealing with a foot injury. He is questionable. And Toscano Anderson remains out. The Kings side of this game, Sabonis is questionable and Harrison Barnes is questionable. I think it was hand for Sabonis and like a quad injury for Barnes. So we'll start with the Lakers side. I mean, LeBron's under 10K with no Anthony Davis. I mean, that's just a spot where I have circled and I'm ready to go. I like this one a lot for LeBron. And then Bryant is still 5,300 with no AD. I'm not worried about that Phoenix game. They got smashed. I think this is like, those are the two guys I'm looking at.
Yeah, absolutely. Thomas Bryant. And Thomas Bryant essentially should have more upside with LeBron on the court because all the attention is going to be on him. So I like that call a ton. So Westbrook is questionable, which I think is actually a bigger deal than AD being out because we already know AD is out. You get what I'm saying? So, So if Westbrook doesn't play, I think that's going to open it up for Dennis Schroeder again. So at 4,700,
I think the minutes are there for Schroeder anyway.
No, I know, but I'm saying if Westbrook is out, his opportunities are going to be there at that price versus Westbrook being in, taking rebounds, taking assists, taking shots. We saw Dennis Schroeder with LeBron out. He took 19 shots, took 12 against Washington, 12 against Denver. I think if Westbrook is out, Schroeder's going to be a really good play on this slate against Sacramento.
Walker and Schroeder are really interesting if Westbrook sits. I mean, these guys are going to have to play so many minutes, especially with Reeves out as well. I mean, if Westbrook sits, the Lakers, I think they could keep this game close too. And I don't think they really want to play like Patrick Beverley 35 minutes. So, I mean, this is definitely an interesting spot for the Lakers. The Kings side, dude, if Sabonis sits in this game, I mean, how do you not have a ton of interest in Keegan Murray? I know. Listen, Fox, fantastic play. We're not even I don't want to skip past the obvious, but I would have a ton of interest in Murray if Sabonis doesn't play in this game.
So here's my question: do you think they play Rashawn Holmes if he sits?
I mean, it's him.
He's 3K, man.
It's going to be Holmes or Lyles, right? I think you'd play whoever starts. And it's a 10 o'clock game, so you really won't have that at lock. So
he's 3K. Man, give me Rashawn Holmes for 3K. I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think a lot of us will take it if he starts.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts overall here on the Kings?
I think this game. The Kings should probably win this game, especially if they're at mostly full strength. If Sabonis plays and Harrison Barnes plays, I think they beat the Lakers, and I don't think it's that tight of a game. I think they can beat the Lakers reasonably here if everybody's healthy. They got enough pieces done. Fox at 87, I don't hate. But I think if Sabonis is out, he probably feels better at 8,700 just because that should even the playing field a little bit more.
All right, we finish it out with your Charlotte
Bobcats.
Just kidding. The Hornets and the Clippers, 224.5 total here. Clippers a 7-point favorites on the Charlotte side. Cody Martin is out. Rozier is doubtful. And Dennis Smith Jr. remains out on the Clippers side. Paul George, Reggie Jackson, Norman Powell, Zubac, all questionable. You say you're going to get destroyed. This game is a lot more interesting if Paul George and Reggie Jackson and Norman Powell and Zubac sit, for what it's worth.
Well, we're going to get destroyed by Kawhi, for what it's worth. Sorry. I know I didn't clarify that, but listen, Stevie, we've had trouble with LeBron and Kawhi and KD and Carmelo Anthony. Like, I'm talking about top-tier scoring for years. Like, nothing's changed, and we're getting a Kawhi Leonard that seems to be fairly healthy. Like, he's playing low 30s, played 32 minutes against Washington, 31-9. 31-9, 1 assist, 1 block, 3 steals. The Claw was in big-time action, played 31 minutes against Minnesota. If Paul George is out, Kawhi Leonard is very underpriced to have superstar production potential. He'll be one of the top plays on the slate if Paul George is out against the Hornets. And I wouldn't blame anybody for hopping in there and getting in on that action.
I mean, starting with the Hornets side, LaMelo Ball fouled out the other night, and he just absolutely smashed it. Like, you could tell he was a little slow, and that's where the fouls came from a little bit with the second end of a back-to-back, but he absolutely crushed. He's averaging 1.5 fantasy points per minute with Rozier and Smith off the floor this season, 32.5% usage rate. I mean, LaMelo is one of the top plays on the slate, even in a tough matchup. The guy I'm worried about is Oubre. I mean, I'm sorry about your luck, Oubre. Kawhi is still pretty good defending. Yeah, I mean, I think this is a spot you are overweight on LaMelo, and maybe even like some tournament shots on a guy like Hayward. If you think Kawhi is going to guard Oubre like I do. But yeah, I mean, this is ball. Like, I love LaMelo in this spot.
I don't hate it. Somebody else has been getting big minutes. Now, we didn't see the production the other night. He didn't take a whole lot of shots, but the rebounds were there. I keep sneaking in PJ Washington at 5,400, Stevie, because I know he's got 35-ish upside night to night if the shots fall. As long as he's playing 30 minutes. You know what I mean? If he's playing 25 minutes, I wouldn't worry about it. But he's playing 30 to 32 minutes. I don't hate PJ Washington here.
Good old PJ Washington. Clippers side of this game, I think it's all going to really depend on injury news. If Paul George and Jackson and these guys play, I don't have a ton of interest. Outside of maybe like Kawhi at 7,900. If these guys sit, ton of interest in Kawhi, obviously. Then it would kind of really just get interesting. Like, you'd have to maybe like do some process of elimination in that like scenario. Like, do we think like if Zubac sits, I feel like it's gonna be what is it, Moses debate? Does he play 25 minutes? Like, he hasn't played over 20 minutes yet this season. Like, he's 3,500. He seems to be a decent fantasy point producer. Oh no, they just assigned him, didn't they? Hold on. Now I gotta go look.
Yeah, Brown was in over the weekend. And so
he got assigned, but he's on two-way. He could get called back for this game. Debate.
Do you think Moses Brown plays though? He's been really good at times when he plays.
I don't know.
So here's what's crazy about Moses Brown. He was
started
in OKC
the last time Zubac was out
and got a good contract, and now he's bounced around from Dallas to. Oh man, it sucks for that guy. Anyway, back on track here. I don't know who will play. I think my main focus will be Kawhi, and then maybe some Terrence Mann, maybe some Luke Kennard. Like, I think I'd be sprinkling in these other guys.
For what it's worth, Brown started last time Zubac was out and played 23 minutes, 3,700. Against Charlotte, yeah, that's definitely doable. Just an interesting game in general here. You're really just going to have to see what the injuries look like on the Clippers. Hopefully we get the news early. I mean, there's a potential that we don't. So that's always fun. So, all right. Any final thought? Oh, we got to play the morning grind game. Duh.
Yes, we do.
Oh, man. I'm feeling it today. Favorite play under 5K to go 7X. Who's your cheap guy today?
I think I'm just going to go ahead and go out on a limb with this one, Stevie. Give me Dennis Schroeder.
All right, I like that. I'm gonna go Kendrick Williams. I'm very high on him just in general right now. So, I'm gonna go Kendrick Williams today. Over 8K to go under 5X. Who is your bust at the top today?
Give me Pascal Siakam against the Knicks.
All right. I'm gonna go Durant just because I don't think this game is gonna stay close and he's gonna be able to get off the floor at like 32 minutes tonight. So I'm gonna say KD in this one. Favorite 6X play? Who do you got?
Kawhi Leonard against the Hornets.
All right, I like it. I'm gonna go LaMelo Ball. I know it's a tough matchup. The usage is just through the roof right now. With Rozier doubtful. The usage and his production is just it's crazy high. So I like it a lot. Let's get weird. GPP play of the day. I already said mine. It's Moses Moody. Who do you got? Who's getting weird with you today?
I'm trying to figure out how weird this is going to be. I think it's still going to be weird. This is a guy we kind of kicked off the pod with. I'm going Fred VanVleet at 8,300. I talked about how the Knicks are really giving it up to point guards. I think he has a bounce back game here, and I don't think he gets played a lot today because of that price.
Fair enough. Any bets? Anything standing out to you here night before?
Yes, I'm so glad you mentioned it, Stevie. And I know this is going to be a tough game, but trust me on this, and I know you do. This is too low. Darius Garland has hit the books yet again at 7.5 assists. Way too low. This guy was at 9.5 and 10.5 to kick off the season, and he's averaging 9 assists over his last 5. 9, 6, 10, 12, and 8. And he's on the books at 7.5 again. Give me Darius Garland over 7.5.
I like it. All right. That's going to wrap it up here for Wednesday. We'll be back Thursday with the football podcast. Week 16, right? Pretty sure it's week 16.
Yeah, week 16.
Week 16 already. It's crazy. So we'll be back Thursday with the NFL podcast, and then basketball will return on Friday. I mean, we're right around the corner from Christmas. Hope everyone's staying safe and having fun with all that, great holiday time. So we'll see you all tomorrow for the football podcast. Have a wonderful